Hey Taurus, welcome to your Summer 22 shape shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for the summer season. I'm Amanda, I'm your reader. Let's get into it. We're using the Spolia Tarot today to take a look at the shape shift that is happening for Taurus whenever you find this reading. I'm always amazed at how sometimes these readings can find resonance like a year later or some way other time. So whenever you find the cards, welcome. Okay, the shape shift for Taurus at this time. Interesting, the Page of Cups falling out. Okay, I want to say something before we continue. So this was a central part of the Aries reading that I just did, Summer 2022 Aries reading, check it out. It was a crux point and it really talked a lot about vulnerability as a vehicle, like a way of moving. And even just as I'm sitting with your energy before I started pulling and before I turned on the camera, I was feeling things might be a little raw. Like it sort of felt like spring was a lot. What was your reading called? Like feeling the future, like feeling your way forward. It talked a lot about catharsis. Maybe go revisit that spring 2022 reading if you haven't, so you can sort of get that hindsight magic coming into this reading. But yeah, it's like you've been through, I just had that feeling of like having been through a lot and then just feeling really raw afterwards. So it's interesting that we're starting with that vulnerability, that vulnerable emotional space of the Page of Cups. Let's see where else this shift takes you, Taurus. Is that two cards? Okay. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like you need a dam break. So you got Strength and you got the Two of Swords. And this is how it's presenting to me. Let's take a look. It feels to me like you're shifting out of this Page of Cups experience into the Strength experience, which to me is a bit of a lateral move emotionally, but you're shifting through the Two of Swords, which is telling me you're sort of needing space. It's like you just, I'm getting really specifically that you just need to turn off your brain and take some space from everything that went down for you in the spring season and just like, you know, like, oh my gosh, needing some distance from that in order to give you the strength. So in terms of, you know, this is a shape shift spread. So I like to look at what's happening literally in the cards. And there is something here with the Page of Cups showing us this sort of snaking motion. So there's a lot of movement in the Page of Cups, and then there's not as much movement in the Strength card. And since you're passing through the Two of Swords, which is a bit of a stop sign in this reading, you know, like maybe there's just been a lot going on and a lot of movement, especially like maybe emotional things, and you're just needing it all to kind of stop for a moment. Maybe you need stillness. Maybe you need things to just chill. And maybe that stillness will help you feel a little stronger emotionally, physically, whatever that is for you. Interesting that we have the Leo card here because we will move through Leo season in the summer. So there might be something about the strength that you need to navigate everything you've been going through might actually come to you if you're able to take some space, like mental space, physical space. I think of the Two of Swords sometimes as like the meditative distance that you need to quiet all of the different voices in your mind and actually be able to tap into your voice and your like singular yes or no. The Two of Swords does talk about a choice point, you know, like, do I do this or do I do that? I have no idea. Maybe feeling a little bit like I don't know which way to go. I don't know which way to choose. And it might just be an opportunity to pause and take some time out and not have to make a choice one way or the other right now. Because, you know, Page of Cups is down here in the cave. It's possible that you've been going through some really deep stuff. You know, Saturn is Uranus is in your sign square to Saturn. Uranus, the planet of shakeups and surprises and things unexpectedly happening that then you have to handle or deal with. Saturn, you know? Saturn says, yep, that sucks what Uranus just did to kind of shake up your experience, and you have to deal with it, you know? Like, you might have some discomfort to move through. And the last reading for Taurus, it seemed like you were moving through some discomfort and you needed like an emotional release. And in that reading, you were learning to feel your way forward when you don't know what's next, to just like be where you are and sort of use your other senses, like your feelings and your intuition and your gut, rather than always your logic and your brain and the tangible things that you know, to navigate. And so it's interesting that now in this spring season, you're starting with the Page of Cups, which is an energy that moves from that more emotional, intuitive, like the body of this being, fish human being, is even like flowing. And the Two of Swords is that realization that like, okay, if I'm going to navigate what I don't know about what's next from a place of deep inner knowing, I'm gonna have to take some space from other opinions, or I'm gonna have to take some space from those parts of me that want to latch on to what it knows and what it can control. You know, so maybe that's also part of what you're taking space from here, to remember that you're navigating from this more, you know, the Page of Cups and the Strength card feel really similar to me, that you're learning about navigating from this more emotional, intuitive space. And it does take a lot of strength to do that. And you may need to take some time out, like take a break from your brain in order to let that kind of movement happen. Honestly, it just seems to me like a lot of what you need is a rest, to be able to feel like you can navigate whatever is next for you, which I think is a lot of unknown right now, from a place of strength. So Taurus, this is pretty general. We definitely need to dive deeper now with some of the other cards. So I hope that you continue to join me here as we go deeper into this reading now. And you can do that by viewing your full reading and joining us in the shifting space. So I hope to see you there.